And a lot of times people have asked us, they're like, well, what are some things that y'all have gone through in your life? And I love to tell my story, not ever to say, oh, look at Sarah, she's so cool. She got through all that stuff by herself. Not at all to say that. But only to say, look what God brought Sarah through. That's what it's all about. So all that to say, when I was about 13 years old, I got to a point in my life where I'd let a lot of things from the past build up. A lot of things people had said to me or done, or just things that, you know, you just keep them inside. I'm the kind of person that when something affects me, I don't really talk about it. I just kind of shut myself off, and I'm like, I'll figure that out later. I don't have to deal with that now, which is not a good way to handle situations at all. But that's what I did. And I got to a point where I felt so completely alone, so lost. I didn't even know what I wanted to do, why I was even created, for that matter. I had no clue. And when I got to that point, I started turning away from everything that mattered. I turned away from my sisters, my parents, my friends, everything that really mattered in my life. And I turned away from God, too. And my way of coping with those feelings was with food, which I know that sounds weird. You're like, how can food control you? But for 3 years, I struggled with anorexia and bulimia. And it was something that took control. I couldn't help myself anymore. And when I finally got to the point where I realized that, I went away for 2 months to a treatment center out in Arizona. And it was the best thing I could have ever done. And I always wish I could say, whenever I came home from those 2 months, I was completely healed. Everything was amazing. I never had any problems again. But I can't say that. It was definitely a daily struggle where I was like, Lord, you have to take this control. I can't do it by myself. But one thing I realized that I could say was that through it all, no matter what I had done, no matter who I had turned away from, I was forgiven. The only thing that I had to do was say, Lord, I know I messed up, but please forgive me. I want to come back to you. And he just stood there. He was like, okay, you can come back. And that to me was so amazing to know that. And I love to tell that story because I know we all go through things in our lives. I don't know what you're going through tonight, but there are things like maybe drugs or alcohol, sex before marriage, maybe even things like pride or anger or disobeying your parents, whatever it is. Just know this, that you really can be forgiven. And it's so amazing because when you're going through something like that and you're just so shut off to the rest of the world, you can't see that. But whenever you really think about it, it's true. All you have to do is say, Lord, please take me back. I want to start over again. And that's exactly what's going to happen. This next song that we're going to do is one of my favorites. And it's just talking about those times in your life when you feel so alone, so lost, and you don't know where to turn. When you cry yourself to sleep at night, just know that you're not alone. That God is right there with you, crying by your side too. This is called Angels Cry.